All right, welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Mark. I am your host, and today on the show, I've got a new friend in recovery, and his name's Donnie. Donnie, welcome.
What up, dude?
Yeah. Welcome.
How are you?
I'm good. So I brought you a present, and it's the recovery band, and they're going to kick us off. All right.
Yeah, sweet.
All right, kick it with that funk, boys. And there's even a studio audience for you. I know.
Just for me? Oh, God.
I know, right? A little ego inflation.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I need.
So a quick backstory here. So I have a sponsee, and we're both on Instagram, and he's like, dude, check out this guy that I follow. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, it's the crazy sub guy. And I was like, all right. And he's like, listen to this video. And he played me a video where you were making subs and you were talking, and I'm like, hold on, stop, play that back. I was like, I think he's in recovery. and I'm like, yeah, I think so. I was like, send me his info. I want to reach out. I wanted to talk to you because the stuff that you were talking about on that video about, like, you know, if you could have helped somebody and all this, you know, kind of really hit home. And so I'm happy that we're talking, and maybe we'll start out with the basics. Like, how much time in recovery do you have?
Yeah. So shoot, I'm pretending I'm in my home group right now. Donnie Alcoholic. My sobriety date is October 25th, 2018.
Awesome.
So I'm coming up on. Well, you know, all I have is today, but, you know, if I keep doing what I'm supposed to do, I'll have 6 years in October. You know, I have a sponsor who knows he's my sponsor.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, he better. Shit. I keep that guy sober, man. You know, I work the steps of the program multiple times. I'm actually in a step study as we speak. I hold service positions. I chair a meeting on Tuesday nights. I have a home group. I have sponsees. And yeah, man, it's a blessing.
That's incredible. That's really incredible. And they're getting sponsored by the crazy. Do they know you're the crazy sub guy?
Oh, dude, of course. They do. I mean, you know, but I don't talk about it. You know, I try not to, because as weird as it might sound, man, I don't like I like the attention, of course. There's a little piece of me that's like, oh, yeah, you love that shit. But then it's like, I don't go in there and say, hey, guys, you see my new video? Like, I don't, how humility is that? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So look at me. But if somebody mentions it, then we're off to the races, baby.
That's great. So before you went on this journey, you know, in recovery, what was life like before recovery? Like, do you remember your first drink, and what was it like for you out there?
Oh, dude, I remember it all, man. It started, so a little about me. I grew up with my mom. My dad wasn't really around. My mom and my sisters, I grew up in a household full of women. And I was the youngest. I was the only boy in the house. I was the youngest. And, you know, I always felt like I was different. Like, I literally asked my mom, did you adopt me? Like, and this is like 6 years old. And I remember this. It's insane. And I was like, there's no way. I think I'm an alien, you know, like I would say stuff like that. And I just, you know, something felt off, man. And I remember that from early on. And so fast forward, I started drinking and using when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And my mom was an addict. She was an addict and an alcoholic. She started using crack and other, well, she always drank, I remember that, but she got hard into crack when I was in, now I know, fourth grade, and it progressed like this disease does, man. And by the time I was in sixth grade, she was negligent, and that correlated directly with my using because she wasn't around. I didn't have the dad, so I'm in the streets, literally 12 years old. And back then, man, I was like 5'4", 105 pounds. This just like skinny white kid running around with gangs. And I remember vividly at 12 years old behind the Giant. I grew up in Annandale, Virginia, this small little town,
Yeah.
right outside of DC. And I remember at 12 years old being like blurred out, drunk, stumbling behind the Giant in my town. And it was just like I did it because I mean, I guess I could, and I was looking to the streets, I guess, to fill that void, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
of not having that male role model. So I'm hanging out with people that are like 18, 21, 26. I'm 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I started smoking weed first, and then I started drinking.
Yeah.
But I didn't drink alcoholically, I would say, until maybe like 13. 13, it kind of I was on my I want to say I was on my own, kind of, you know. My mom was there, but she wasn't. She would disappear for weeks at a time,
Yeah.
and I was kind of by myself, man. And but my friends took care of me. My older friends, you know, they took care of me. And I remember being I remember sleeping on a little foam kind of uh how do I say it, futon on the floor
Yeah.
in my grandmother's house, because me and my mom shared a room because everything, she lost it. We had a house, you know, and she lost it. And fast forward, we get an eviction notice when I was about 14. And we were getting kicked out, and I called my sister and told her. And it's kind of a blur, but around that time I also found my mom's crack pipe. You know, I found it, and then it was real for me
Yeah.
because I didn't know what it was, and my friend told me, and he disposed of it, and I told my sister, and basically she came and took me out of that house,
Yeah.
and she took custody of me when I was 14. And I grew up with her until I left her house
Yeah.
when I was 18 years old. But you know, my mom, she stopped using crack because I asked her. I said, "Man, I don't care what you do. You can drink as much as you want, but just stop smoking crack,
Yeah.
please." Because this destroyed our lives. I mean, dude, 12, 13 years old, the shit that I've seen, man, I don't think I remember my kids at that age. No kid should have to go through that.
Yeah.
I was a baby.
Yeah. Absolutely. It,
Um, yeah.
Now you were talking about like these older guys that you were hanging out with and like in like the streets, the gangs and everything, like and that was just to fill a void in you, like you feel now.
I feel it. I feel that that's what it was. You know, I looked to these guys. I looked up to them. They were cool, and they were drinking 40s, and smoking Philly blunts. This is
Uh-huh.
back in what, 2000 freaking four.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. They would lace blunts, and I wouldn't know. I remember I look back, and I was tripping on PCP at 13 years old. And I just thought it was
Wow.
some good weed. It
Yeah.
was I was hanging with MS-13, and you know, I guess that's what they did. So I did it too because I wanted to be a part of. You know, I always felt like I wasn't a part of, and with them, they accepted me and took care of me, and that filled that void. Um, and so, you know, once my sister took me, she saved my life because I would walk around with razor blades in my mouth, man, because I was scared for my life, bro. I mean, you know, these rival gangs, they're always looking to whoop somebody's ass they find them by themselves.
Yeah.
And that was my life until she took me out. And so, you know, it's like we go through this roller coaster ride, and the highs are really high, the lows are really low. This is when I started to go uphill. And but at that point, man, the seed had been planted, you know. I got a taste of it, and I liked the feeling when I took my first drink was when I was 7. I sipped a Corona and I said yuck, and then I drank when I was 12 to get drunk because I drank I was drinking MD 2020 baby, and I was
Oof.
chugging it. Oh yeah,
Oh,
throwing
God.
up. Oh, but it was the best. Oh, I love this, right?
Oh yeah, I think like when I was a teenager, I'd drink MD 2020 and Boone's Farm and Ice House beer and like just
Ooh.
some real garbage.
Wild Irish Rose, man. I used to steal it from the Giant when I was 12 years old.
so,
Um,
so
but
yeah,
well, look, my mom, she got off the crack and she turned to alcohol. She replaced one for the other, like we do, right?
yeah,
Um, and then at 17, this disease killed her. She died from chronic alcoholism, man. And I
oh
blame
man,
myself. I blame myself because I told her, you can drink as much as you want because I had no idea what alcoholism was. I
yeah,
never, that wasn't a thing to me. Like, I never saw anybody get sober. I didn't know that that was an issue.
yeah,
And I never knew what that was. And I was at that time 17, but like I said, when my sister got me, I went upwards, and then I went slowly down, man. I got heavily addicted to coke and ecstasy. Drugs are obviously a part of my story,
oh absolutely,
but I got heavily addicted to cocaine, ecstasy, anything that would get me out of my head. I did
yeah,
not want to feel feelings, and I wanted more and more and more. And that's my drug of choice. My drug of choice is more of whatever you got that's going to get me outside of myself because I just don't want to feel. I didn't want to feel, and I drank and used for oblivion. And when she passed away, you would think that, no, my mom just died from chronic alcoholism. Maybe I should stop drinking and doing drugs. No, I ran, I ran 100 miles an hour towards it,
yeah.
and yeah, man, that was the hardest thing.
You know, you're talking about like those feelings. I can remember, wanting to drown those feelings. And the first time I ever heard the word oblivion in recovery, I was like, "What's oblivion?" And somebody's like, "It's either to drink to either forget or to be forgotten." And
Mm,
and
damn, that's good.
yeah,
Mm,
and I'm like, that makes so much sense. That makes
man,
absolute sense. Like that's what I was drinking and using to, because Coke was my thing. Like towards the end, like I'd always
yeah,
crutch it up at some point in life. If it wasn't X, it was Coke. If it wasn't Coke, it was meth. If it wasn't that, it was this. It was always something
mm,
or other, anything.
yeah.
So I
Oh
can identify
my
with what you're
goodness.
saying.
Oh Lord, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
that Coke is a hell of a drug.
It is that sketch
Um,
on Dave Chappelle where he talks about Rick James like cocaine's a hell of a drug. It is.
yeah, yeah, I think of that all the time. Oh my God. Um, so that is really when my life took the biggest fall, I think, before my final fall. Because we
Okay.
have so many bottoms.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's like, which bottom is going to be the last? And you never know. But for 5 years, from 17 to 22, I couldn't really tell you what happened because I drank for oblivion. Every time I popped any kind of alcohol, I blacked out. I'm a blackout drinker. I'm a drunk driver. Um, I talk so much shit. I got my ass whooped many times
Yeah.
because of my mouth. I've ruined so many relationships. And so in 2011, I overdosed twice. First time was on a cocktail of alcohol, painkillers, heroin, ecstasy, all this stuff mixed together. It was just a cocktail of stuff. And the doctor told me in the hospital bed, it was a woman, and she said, "Stop doing drugs. That's my recommendation for you." And I was like, "Okay, okay." And then in September, I overdosed on heroin. I started shooting heroin because I was sniffing it through the summer. And then in September of 2011, I overdosed on it because somebody told me you can feel a lot better if you shoot it.
Oh no.
And I'll never forget that feeling, man. I literally, I died. And luckily, the guys I was with, they were my friends. I wasn't in some dope house where they would have left me, but I turned blue. I just remember the feeling of 1,000 needles starting at the top of my head, going to the bottom of my feet. And I said, this feels weird. And then I wake up in the ambulance. And luckily, my boy gave me CPR and saved my life.
Wow.
But this disease is so powerful that I woke up, first thing on my mind, where's my shit? Where's my shit?
Yeah.
And I got to the hospital. I called my boys. I said, where's my shit? I'm like, I think about this, man. And I'm like, this is the insanity. That is the insanity. You just died. And you're worried about your next hit?
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem. You know, I don't have a problem.
No, not at all. Not me. I'm not the addict or the alcoholic. Like I can remember sitting in the dope hole, right? And I'd be like, man, that guy's back for the third time today. And I'm like, wait a second. And now I look back at it and I'm like, I was sitting there for 2 days. Just because I didn't leave doesn't mean, yeah, oh man, look at that guy coming in and trading something for that. Wait, I was there for another 3 days while I watched that. I'm like, oh crap. I was the addict.
Oh, dude, you know, calling the kettle black, man.
Yeah. So what was your bottom before you, like, you said that wasn't your bottom. So what did your bottom look like?
Oh God, many bottoms, dude. So I was always dealing drugs. You know, I always was the man. I was the guy you could go to find anything through high school, all the way up until you know, a couple months before I got sober. But so I you know, I had some drug treatment that I was mandated to go to in 2012, I believe, 2013, but it didn't stick because, you know, I didn't want it. And luckily I got with my now wife. I've known her since 8th grade. I got with her in 2013. And that's another part where I thought I was just gonna, you know, I never thought that I really had a problem, right? I thought I could stop whenever I wanted to. And that was the biggest lie I ever told myself, is that I could stop when I wanted to. But when I got with her, you know, then I started to see that I did have a problem, because she's a normie, half a glass of wine kind of gal.
Really? How does she do that?
Exactly. What's the point? And I would, you know, I'm like trying to control my drinking, and, you know, I drink 2 beers and she's like, oh my God, you're drinking a lot. I'm like, you should have seen how many freaking shots I took before we even came to this restaurant. I mean, dude, it was hiding. I started hiding my drinking when I got with her, and, you know, that's one of those signs. But she had a son, who I am now, I took the role as his father. He was 6 at the time, and I thought, this is my chance. I'm going to grow up. I'm going to snap out of it. I thought I was just going to snap out of this.
Oh, yeah. This is the thing that's going to really sober me up.
This is it. This is it. I've told myself, you know what? I'm going to go and get baptized again. You know, I'm going to cleanse myself, and then I'm going to start over. I'm not going to curse anymore, you know?
Wait, hold on. Can I kick you something out of our big book?
Oh, yeah.
So here are some of the methods we tried. This is from 31. Here are some of the methods we tried.
All of them. I did all of them.
Drinking beer only, limiting the number of drinks, never drinking alone, drinking in the morning, drinking at home, and never having it in the house, never drinking during business hours, drinking only at parties, switching from scotch to brandy, drinking only natural wines, agreeing to resign if ever drunk on the job, taking a trip, not taking a trip.
Taking a trip, yeah.
Swearing off forever, with or without a solemn oath, taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books, going to health farms and sanitariums, accepting voluntary commitment to asylums. We could increase the list ad infinitum. And
ad infinitum, baby.
Yeah, it's
I love that.
Yeah, and it's like, that's crazy to think like all these things that we want to try is going to stop that alcoholism.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just it's the insanity, right? We're doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Yeah.
And but I wasn't changing anything.
Okay.
I wasn't changing anything. And so I got with her. I thought that was it. It wasn't. So then fast forward, we have a daughter. Oh, here's another chance, baby. I'm going to snap out of it.
Yeah.
When she was 2 months old, my first time going out after she was born, I went to a Buffalo Wild Wings, got arrested for drunk in public.
Oh, wow.
And, it's just like I wasn't ready. The pain wasn't great enough. These are things that I know now. The pain wasn't great enough. I didn't hurt enough. And so in 2018, I got pulled over for, you're going to love this. I got pulled over twice in the same night. Now,
really,
the first time, I left a bar blacked out. Like, I remember kind of talking to an officer. It was like raining. I talked my way out of it somehow, some way. And I remember crying, calling somebody that was at the bar with me, and they're like, "You need to call an Uber." And then 15 minutes later, I was like, "Oh, I'm sober enough. I'll drive home." And I got pulled over like 10 minutes later. And all I remember is walking the straight line in some flip-flops, and I remember leaning to the left and stumbling, and I said, damn it, I'm done. And so they took me in for a DUI, and I still didn't learn. That was in like May of 2018. So in August of 2018 is when my bottom started to go super sharp turn, like, for the worst, because my wife kicked me out, okay, because she she caught me doing things that a husband shouldn't do, right?
Yeah.
And so she basically she kind of kicked me out. I kind of kicked myself out, I was a drama queen, and I was out of the house. She threatened to take my kids from me. And so that week that I was not living with her and her mom, because we were staying with her mom, I get pulled over. They find an empty bag of Coke, some THC cartridges, and some marijuana. So boom, 2 felonies, misdemeanor.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And then I go to court a month after that for that. I still haven't been sentenced for my DUI. And I go to court, and I leave court that same day that I left court for the THC cartridges. I got pulled over for a failure to yield, and they caught me with cartridges in my pocket and more marijuana. So now I'm facing 3 felonies, 2 misdemeanors, and I haven't been to court for my DUI. So I go to the DUI hearing, and they say you can turn yourself in now or in a week. And this is the first time I think I was actually taking some accountability, and I'm not running. I said, let's do it right now. I'll just take me. And I went in, and I heard you read in jail, and I went to the book pile, and I found the 12 and 12 sitting right on top. And I said, this is weird. I'm in here for a DUI, and this is an Alcoholics Anonymous book. I thought that shit was only on TV.
Yeah.
Like, this is real?
Oh, you thought it was only like meetings like in a movie where they sit around in kumbaya or whatever?
Yo, in a big gym with those fold-out chairs and the coffee and old people. Woo-hoo. So I read the 12 and 12 in a day and a half, and I thought I was being punked because it was saying things to me that I thought that only I was thinking. And I literally thought I was being punked, bro. I thought this was a joke. Yeah. I looked in the back. When was this written? Like, what the hell is this?
800 years ago, what?
Yeah, dude. And so, I got out of jail. I did 5 days, and that's all I needed, man. That was the biggest head start I had, and I don't know how long. I couldn't make it 3 days. That was like my magic number. Yeah. Because by then, the forgettery kicked in, Yeah. I forgot how bad I felt. So I got out. I had to face all my consequences. I had the breathalyzer in the car, probation. I had to do ASAP. My lawyer recommended I do meetings before they mandate it, but I wanted to do meetings, okay? This is how messed up my thinking was before I came in. My only recovery experience was a friend in NA. I asked him for help. with my drinking. I went to NA meetings high on weed because, you know, the marijuana maintenance program
Oh yeah.
works so well. I'm in an NA meeting high
Yeah.
for my alcohol problem. So, you know, that
Oh.
lasted 33 days.
Yeah.
And that was like a year before I came in. So I looked up meetings and I went to my first meeting at 7:45 in the morning, and I walked in and nobody looked like me. It's a morning meeting, so you know, it's a bunch of old people.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, what'd they say to
Uh,
you when you walked in? What was it
well, I
like?
was late. I was late, so nobody really said anything to me, but they knew I was new because within the first 5 minutes I was crying.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's because, you know, I heard my story in the first share I heard, you know, and then it was also like feelings, those feelings I was running from. Now they're all hit me like a ton of bricks.
Oh yeah, they're real.
Yeah, yeah, like, um, so here I am, 27 years old when I came in. I have the coping mechanisms of a 12-year-old because that's when I started drinking and using. So they say that you are stuck wherever you started using mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and that's where I was.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know how to deal with these feelings, and it felt like, shit, man, this is how did I get here kind of feeling. And I cried the first 30 days in those meetings, but I wanted to identify out so bad, but man, every single share I heard my story in every single person that did not look like me, and there was no doubt that I was in the right place.
Yeah. Then now, were they encouraging you to come back? Like, and
Oh,
they,
look, okay, so you know the usual. This
yeah,
is, hey, take my number. Hey, you know, one day at a time. Everything that we hear in there, keep coming back. You know, it works if you work it. And there's just a lot of blurry memories the first 30 days,
yeah,
that fog. But you know, I felt good. I felt, and I call it magic. I called it magic at that time. I said, I don't know what it is about this place, but it makes me feel good. I feel safe. These people, they get me, you know,
yeah,
and I got that feeling of a part of, right?
yeah.
Again, but without drugs or alcohol, right? And so I was suggested to, you know, you got to get a sponsor. Okay. I don't
Yeah.
recommend this to anybody, but it took me 3 months to find a sponsor.
I look, I can identify with that. It was tough to get a sponsor. Like I was a little bit resistant to it. Oh, I can't really find the right person. But then
Mm,
found the right person, or God found the right
yeah,
person for me. I don't know which one it was.
exactly.
Can
And I was scared. That's why I had the pride, I had the fear going up to somebody I don't know and asking for help. What the hell? No,
yeah,
why would I ask for help? You
yeah,
know, I'm not weak. I'm a man. I got this.
yeah. You know, I heard a speaker one time say that help is the dirtiest four-letter word.
Oh God. Oh, that
Yeah,
that and work. Work,
yeah.
work, work.
Work,
That dirty
work.
four-letter word.
Yeah.
Um,
So, what was your experience like with your sponsor? Is he still your sponsor today, or was this like a temporary sponsor
oh yeah.
situation?
So I go up to the guy. I felt like I was asking a girl out in a date in high school, and I'm just like, you know, that's the best way I can describe it. Because I'm like, hi, sure. This guy had so many tattoos, Spanish dude from LA. I heard him share, you know, I was like, man, that sounds like me. I relate to that. So
Yeah.
I wanted what this guy had. And that's what I feel you need in a sponsor. I want what you have, so I got to do what you do. I know that now. So I asked him, he said, oh, you want me to be your temporary sponsor? Okay, you're going to do 5 things every day. He said, call me or another alcoholic, go to a meeting, read some literature, pray, and do something nice for somebody and don't tell anybody about it.
Oh.
And that last part got me. I was like,
But
what?
what about my
What's the point of
ego?
that? Exactly. Why can't I go like gloat about it?
Yeah.
But he said he would be my temporary sponsor, and we immediately started working the steps. We
Okay.
got through the first 3 steps. First, yeah, first three steps, and then I joined a men's step study,
Okay.
and that is really where my recovery skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, I was just coming to the meetings. I didn't understand really what these steps were, you know.
Oh yeah.
Um, and once I got in the step study with a bunch of guys just talking about our feelings, that's just saying that still feels weird. Bunch of guys talking about our feelings?
Yeah.
What? And you know what, man? Those steps saved my life. The
That's
steps
beautiful.
saved my life because
Well, yeah.
this was the design for living that I never had. I could stop drinking, I could stop using, but if I stayed around the same people, places, things, and not changing the way I'm thinking or looking for, you know, working on my character defects and character building.
Oh yeah.
Who wants that? But like, like, I mean, so this gave me a design for living, and I say this all the time. These steps could help people that aren't alcoholics. It didn't really it. I thought I was going to come in here and learn how to drink or learn how not to drink, right?
Yeah.
But this taught me how to live, and it
That's
taught me,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
huge. It does. It teaches you how to live.
it just taught me how to be a good person. And I realized that it wasn't the alcohol and drugs that were the problem. I was the problem. And these steps forced me to look inside and really dig deep to the source. And why was I doing this? I found the voids, I found all these resentments and fears and the jealousy and the anger. I used to be so angry.
Yeah.
And around 9 months, I had worked my fourth and fifth, and that just took a weight off of me, like 1,000 pounds, man. And at 9 months, I had a spiritual experience on my first vacation, sober, and I was in the beach. It's super cliche, but I was in the beach in the water. I had just ran like a couple miles, and I ended at the beach. And I was like, let me try this meditation thing that these people are talking about. Let me pray and meditate like these people are saying and suggesting. And I went into the water and I just cleared my head, and I felt my whole body vibrating. And it felt at that very moment that everything was all right. I cleared away any worry, any fear. I was filled. It was me and the ocean were one. Me and everything were one, and I felt at peace. And that was, I started crying because it was so intense, that feeling, and I never thought that that was possible without the use of drugs or alcohol.
Wow. That's beautiful. Those God shots are amazing, and those feelings of peace, those are priceless.
Oh God, man! And I've been chasing that feeling, and I think that's a feeling worth chasing. It's better
Yeah.
than chasing the next high or the next drink.
It's the high I
But
was
right
always looking
then,
for.
yeah, dude, the natural high. And
Yeah.
ever since then, that's when I knew higher power. I have, and I can't describe what my higher power is, but out of convenience, I call my higher power God, right? Because I
Yeah.
grew up, freaking like Lutheran, but I never trusted in God. I said that I believed in God, but I never trusted in God. And I hated
Ah.
God. After my mom died, I cursed God. And those 5 years that I cursed God were the darkest years of my life.
Yeah.
How weird is that, right?
Yeah. Well, that's it's so weird. You say you grew up Lutheran. I grew up Lutheran too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you as bored as I was in them?
I was like, so what's up with that communion wine? I remember being a kid, and
Oh,
I remember my dad's been in the program a long time, and I remember my grandma was like, your dad's an alcoholic, whatever. He gets grape juice, but I remember when I could take communion, and they gave me grape juice, and I was like, oh, I wanted the wine. That stuff smells so good.
Yeah. I think I actually did the wine. I don't
Yeah,
know,
it was
but
yeah. I
it was
wanted, yeah,
disgusting.
yeah. There was nothing good about it. But I remember I finally got the wine. But I quit going to church eventually. Like I think when I was like 16 or 17 is when I started to develop the God resentment. Like my grandparents thought it'd be a great idea to send me to this Baptist Christian school, and that's when I started hating God. I was like, really? I'm still.
Oh Lord.
But
Oh
I
gosh.
get I can identify with everything you're saying on that. So you went from growing up Lutheran to having no God to finding God and peace in the water.
Exactly. And I know it sounds like super
Mm.
cliche, but that's where I found my peace. And I came out of the freaking water a new man. I went and called my step study brothers, my sponsor. I'm like, guys, like, you just don't understand. I feel so good. And I love you guys so much. And blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
But I'm telling you, man, those steps and my sponsor in
yeah.
that first year, I built that foundation and I did everything that was suggested because I had the gift of desperation. And if you would have told me to go out and run a mile every day while rubbing rub my tummy and pat my head, I would have done it
Yeah.
because I was that desperate. And that's what I needed. I needed to be desperate enough. I needed to hurt enough to be willing. I had to be willing to listen and finally understand that whatever I'm doing, it's not working because look where it got me.
Yeah.
My best thinking got me there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it kind of gets us
And
all there, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
so from there, well, I forgot to mention that my sponsor, when he picked me up, he also told me that I'm going to go up to three chairpersons of three different meetings and tell them I need service. Service kept
Oh,
me in the middle of the program,
yes.
even when I didn't want to go to a meeting, because it was very hard for me to sit for an hour.
Yeah.
What? In one place?
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
no.
yeah. No, no.
And,
There's nobody busier than the newcomer. It's,
yeah, really,
yeah,
right?
you want to be
Oh
here for an hour. Yeah.
Lord.
So, what was
Oh,
your first
gosh.
service commitment?
I was the treasurer, and I was like, these people got me messed up. Are they seriously going to trust me with the money? Like, what? The money? And then I was a greeter as well,
Okay.
and I like that. I like that because my home group is in a club, the Serenity Club in Alexandria, Virginia.
Cool.
My home group and I guess I was spoiled. We got couches and all this good stuff, But I was a greeter and I was a treasurer and I did literature and I was just so scared to even read the script at that point when I was starting out. I couldn't really talk. I couldn't say the words. My name is Donnie. I'm alcoholic. Like I couldn't even
Yeah.
speak, man. I didn't know how to do anything sober. I had to learn who I was. People say I had to relearn who I was. I grew up in addiction, so I had to learn who I was. Do I even like watching movies? Because I watch movies drunk and high.
Yeah.
I had to do everything sober, and my wife had to get to know me because she was like, "Why are you so quiet?" After I was, once I got sober, I was like, "I don't know." She's like, "You're usually like all uppity," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, because I'm usually either hyped up on coke, weed, or alcohol."
Yeah.
And
You're a
so,
different person.
exactly, right? So
Yeah.
it was not only me getting to know myself, but her getting to know me as well. And I completed the step study. I had the service positions, and once I got that year, by that time, those charges had turned into a misdemeanor, one misdemeanor, three felonies, and two misdemeanors turned into one misdemeanor possession. And I
Wow.
really feel that it's because I started doing the right thing and I cleared away those blockages between me and my higher power. And I feel like that's like a portal for positivity to come
Yeah.
into my life. And once I started just doing the right thing, trying to do the next right thing, then good things started happening.
Yeah.
And 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 yeah, man, I in sobriety, I got with Jersey Mike's and I started doing the videos, okay,
Yeah,
and I
let's
started making those videos. I knew
the
I got to touch on that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, by all means do it cuz you have yeah, cuz you have a lot of videos and you've amassed a following on there. So yeah, if you want to tell the story about that, by all means.
yeah, I just started doing it because somebody recommended that it's an untapped niche and nobody's doing it, and the Subway guy's doing it. Jersey Mike's is better than Subway. Why don't you do it? So I tried it, and it it blew up, and then eventually I was like, you know what? I choose to break my anonymity. I know it goes against tradition, but I choose to break my anonymity so that maybe I can help somebody else. And I'm going to use this platform for good because I don't
Yeah.
see enough positivity. You see a lot of negativity, but not what kind of substantial stuff are you seeing on these social media channels, man? And
Yeah.
I don't mention the program, but people like you and your responsibility, they pick up on those, and I'm just like, yeah, so I intuitively knew how to handle situations that used to baffle me. And regular people are like, man, that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
And then people in the program are like, oh, one day at a time. And I'm like, yep, you already know.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about, like the whole like anonymity thing and all that. It's like, look, on my forearm, I had a tattoo covered up and it says sober across one side of my forearm. And I'm like, at this point, there's no hiding it. And like, for me, and I don't know if you can identify with this, like I used to hide it all the time. Like, what are people going to say if they find out I'm sober? What are people going to
Mm,
say if, they find out I'm not partying anymore or, going to party with them? And that thing you say about like helping people, yeah, it feels good to, hopefully help somebody.
yeah, this program is the only place where I found that all the effed up stuff that I have done can be used for good. I can share the most raunchiest thing that I've done in the room, and somebody be like, man, I feel that. I did that. Oh, man, I identify with that. And that might save somebody's life. And this
Yeah.
is the only place that I found where that can happen. And yeah, like I was very open about it because everybody knew that I was big on Facebook, posting my drunk videos and stuff. And everybody knew who I was and what I was about. And so when I got sober, it was a big deal, like as far as like people seeing like I transformed as far as physically because I was overweight. I had health issues. I was taking sweat medication, heartburn medication, and then when I stopped drinking, I mean, it took only maybe it was like that first year I was not taking any more medication. I dropped 40 pounds, and people are like, "What happened to you?" I'm like, "Well, I stopped drinking. That's one."
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
so it was big, man. Like it was
yeah.
it because that was my life. I told you, like only thing I did was drink and do drugs and hang out, like anything to do with that. And so when my best friends, that was the hardest part. I grew up with those guys, man, and I tried to hang out with them after being sober. And you know what we had in common? We like to eat.
Yeah.
That's it. What did we do when we hung out? Drank and drugged. And so the only thing we could
Yeah.
do really is go out to eat. And they're drinking and I'm not drinking. And it was just, I had to and eventually they came in the program and they didn't stay, but they're also doing better than they were because they came in. And I think that seeing, me in there, they know at least I feel that whenever they want to come, they can come to me, you
Yeah.
know. They got somebody.
Well,
But
that's beautiful.
yeah, and this program saved everything. I have been with the same job. I don't call out anymore. I'm employable. I'm a good husband. I'm a better father. Um, we bought a house. I have a car. I have money in my bank account. I have money that I save. A savings account? What the hell
Wow.
is that?
What's that?
Yeah, yeah. What? Like, I thought that was for rich people.
Yeah.
I mean, we have two dogs.
Whoa, all
God
right.
bless their little annoying selves, but I mean, the quality of my problems, I have Cadillac problems, man.
Oh, there you go.
It's like, oh damn it, the dog peed on the floor in the house that I own, that I bought on the floor that I paid for,
Yeah.
and I got to clean it up with these cleaning products that I bought. Oh God, my life sucks. I didn't steal anything. I didn't steal these cleaning products. I bought them. Oh, like I had money to buy them, and I have to bring myself back sometimes because this everything, it could be so much worse. And there's nothing that a drink or
Yeah.
a drug is going to make better. It's only going to make it worse, man.
Wow, yeah, you're that's absolutely true. Like I used to drink at things, right? Like drink because the sun came up, drink because it went. In fact, hold on here. How about here? I'd like to let's kick something else real quick out of the big book here.
Oh, dude, dude, I do a big book. I chair a big book study on Tuesdays. So it's like, I almost have this thing memorized.
Well, this is page 428 to 429. It's in the story of window of opportunity, and
I'm almost there.
yeah. Uh, it says, when I had finished talking, he told me something simple. You don't have to drink over it. What an idea. I thought that situations made me drink. If I was angry, I drank. If I was happy, I drank. Bored, excited, elated, or depressed, I drank. Here was a man telling me that independent of my life situation, I did not have to drink. If I stuck with AA, I could stay sober in any and all conditions. He gave me hope, and in many ways, he symbolized the door through which I finally walked into Alcoholics Anonymous. And in that story, like if I look at that next paragraph, I begin to change. I begin to pray. I became actively involved in working the steps. The paragraph below says my life began to change.
Mm, I
And
love that.
yeah, this
That's how it was. That's how it is,
yeah, and
right?
it's not how it is today.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if I would, I couldn't dream my life. I couldn't have dreamt my life because the things that it's like the things that we thought that we wanted, right? Like there was
Yeah,
never enough of what we thought we wanted. I was very materialistic, and I would say that my life sucked because I gauged my life by what I had. And the reason that I think that I didn't believe and trust, that I didn't trust in God is because I demanded things. It says that the
yeah,
difference between a demand and a request is plain to anyone. And I demanded things on my terms. And that's not how it should be. I prayed for only for selfish means, and I said, like, it's like, God, get me out of the back of this cop car. Those foxhole prayers.
yeah,
And God, please just give me $100. And when it didn't happen, I'm like, well, God sucks. My life sucks. I was making those unreasonable demands on everybody around me and myself. And then when they weren't met, well, life sucks because I'm not getting what I wanted. Typical fucking alcoholic.
yeah. that's that's true. That's an alcoholic in his in his cups is an unlovely creature. That's
Yeah, yeah, right.
yeah. So
Oh,
so you've got all this going on in your life. You're out and you're inspiring people. You have a life. Today that's amazing. And as you said in the beginning, like I just have just today. Well, today,
yeah.
let's talk about two things before we wrap this up.
Hmm.
First off, what are you grateful for today in this moment?
I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be alive. And when I say alive, not only like, yes, I'm alive, but like I'm I'm free, right? Happy, joyous, and free. Like I don't have to look over my shoulder. I get to live life in for what it is on its own terms.
Yeah,
I'm alive, and it doesn't just benefit me that I'm alive anymore. It benefits others, you know, because it rubs off.
that's amazing. That's Beautifully said. And, so,
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Off the top.
Yeah. All right. Boom. Mic drop. And, all right. And here we go. We're going to kick it for the newcomer. For the newcomer that might be listening, what do you got for the newcomer?
Don't quit before the miracle happens.
Mm-hmm.
And, be open and willing to listen and take suggestions. Just take the suggestions. You get out of this exactly what you put into it. If you put a freaking 10th of the energy you put into your using and into your recovery, then you'll get this. All that wasted energy, if you put a 10th of that into your recovery, you will be headed in the right direction,
Yeah.
and don't ever say, I got this, because you don't. This is a we program, and you can't do anything in this life, especially get sober. We don't do it by ourselves. We do it together. And get phone numbers, ask for help, pick up that $500 phone.
Yeah.
$500 phone. I know.
Yeah, that's a cheap phone.
Yeah, right. Pick up that heavy phone, because the biggest thing is that we don't want to ask for help, but that is not a weakness. It is a strength. There's strength in numbers.
There is.
There's life in numbers. And God, there was like the daily reflection yesterday or the day before that talked about that. It's like, this is the first word and the first step. We.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't have to do this alone anymore. You are not alone. And anything is possible as long as you are open. Honesty, openness, and willingness is all you need to make it in this program.
That's inspirational, and it's so true. And so, well, Donnie, you know what? Thank you so much for your service today, and for talking to a guy that you didn't know. And
that's what we do, baby.
Yeah, right.
I know you. No, see, the thing is, I know you.
Yeah.
I could walk into any room, any Zoom meeting in the world, and I know them. They know me.
Yeah.
We are the same people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So man, it's my pleasure. Shoot.
Yeah, it's well, thanks for inspiring so many, and by all, dude, keep making the sub videos. Those things are great.
Thanks, man. I'm trying. I'm definitely trying. I'm just, taking it step by step, as it comes, one day at a time.
one day at a time it is. All right, Donnie.
One sub at a time. Should put that on a shirt.
One sub at a time. There you go. Done.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah. There you go. There's your shirt. So it's all right. Well, the recovery band's gonna take us out, and so you ready? They're gonna kick the funk.
Ah, yeah.
All right, here you go. Kick it, boys. Yeah. And something for your ego. Studio audience. Yay.
Oh, yeah. All right. That feels good.
Yeah, right. All right. Thanks for talking today, brother. Thank you for your service. And I really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, man. Thank you for asking.
All right. Goodbye, everyone, and be well.